Right, let's get straight into the T20 World Cup. Mel Farrell joins us from a beer garden in Worcester, where it's raining, and she's having coffee. Oh no, she has got half a pint. Hello, Mel. How wonderful to see. I bet you must be bursting with excitement. You're going to Barbados first, and New York, and well, what a prospect.
I know I'm going to St. Lucia and Antigua as well, so that's why I'm coping with what's been a really rotten spring, essentially in England so far. I'm going to leave it all behind, and I'm just excited about this tournament. I love the fact that we've finally got a T20 tournament with 20 teams, and there's not this rubbish qualifying round that I've hated in the last few that I've covered. So I just think there's so much to look forward to in this tournament. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, very exciting, Mel. And India probably go in as favourites. What do you make of their chances? Because obviously they've been talked about favourites the last few white ball tournaments. No Indian players in the IPL final who are in this 15. Are India as good as what everybody makes them out to be? And are they rightly favourites, do you think?
Yeah, I think they are rightly favourites when you look at the talent that's there. But this is, this format, this tournament, the fact that it's being played in the Caribbean and the US, all of the things are kind of levelers, I think, and make it a bit more unpredictable. There's a little subplot that I'm quite interested in with India as well. There's been a lot of debate about the whole impact player that's been going on in the IPL, and we've seen massive scores. We've seen the whole way that teams are selected has changed a lot. I noticed that Jay Shah has been having a bet both ways on this impact rule, where he's been saying, well, it's not permanent, but that doesn't mean we're not getting rid of it. And I wonder if we're going to see something in this World Cup, if India do really well, if they win the thing, are we going to see the impact player everywhere around the world and changing T20 cricket quite significantly? If India don't, if they bomb out, if they don't make the final, it's a convenient thing to sort of point at, isn't it? And say, well, we'll get rid of that. That's the answer. But this, to me, feels like if you look at some of the players who are in there, the Kohlis, the Rohit, it's a huge deal for them, this T20 World Cup, because how long are those players going to be around? To sort of a lot of generational talents, although they keep producing new ones, but it does feel like it's a really important one. I just think it's going to be so different to what we've seen in the IPL, and that could just be something that changes things and gives other teams a sniff.
Mel, let's talk about the groups very quickly. I know that the feeling amongst the smaller test nations is that it's no coincidence or accident that India and Pakistan and England and Australia in Group A and B have not been paired with another test nation, because the ICC really can't afford to lose those big four, and there are chances of another India-Pakistan game later down the line. So let's say India and Pakistan are with Ireland, USA, Canada, England and Australia with Scotland, Namibia and Oman. Very difficult to see one of those big four being knocked out. In Group C, New Zealand, West Indies and Afghanistan are together with Papua New Guinea and Uganda. Difficult to see Papua New Guinea and Uganda winning a game there, to be honest, apart from against each other. But New Zealand, West Indies, Afghanistan. And then Group D, is that the group of death? South Africa, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal and the Netherlands?
I really think that is. I mean, I really think we're going to see some surprising results in this. I do think we're going to get the games where we see one of the so-called bigger nations sort of brought to heel by associate countries or some of the other ones. I just think that's the nature of it, and we've seen it. We saw what Afghanistan did in the World Cup, and they almost beat Australia, but for the most ludicrous Glenn Maxwell innings, cramped up on one leg. We've seen, you look at the Netherlands and how South Africa have come unstuck against the Netherlands. Sorry, manners. I know it hurts, but that particular group for me, I look at the moment, Bangladesh look like they're in a bit of trouble. They've just lost a series to the US. So that particular group for me is one where when you've got the Netherlands and you've got South Africa together, that could be a bit of a banana skin. And I can't really pick some of those other ones. Bangladesh's form is a bit of a mystery to me at the moment. So that's really one to keep an eye on, I think.
What about Australia, Mel? Where are they at? You look at they're trying to be champions in all three formats. They've got a golden generation probably about to finish. Especially the bowlers. The likes of Stark and Cummins might have a little bit more in him. Hazelwood. Where's the next generation coming from that? And do you think this is, the best chance of the T20 World Cup and probably the best chance of anybody going, champions of all three formats?
Absolutely. I mean, they if they win this, they will hold every major trophy that they play in other than the Champions Trophy, which would be quite incredible. And it's funny. I didn't think they had a hope a few years back in the UAE. I really did not. They played a stinker of a series in West Indies earlier that year, and in Bangladesh as well. And they just didn't look like a modern team, if you like. There's something old-fashioned about the way that they played. But then I didn't think that they would win in India, to be honest. And then look at what they did. They've got, I think, real confidence that they can time their run. So at the moment, they've only got 9 players available for their warm-up matches, which is hilarious because we might see Andrew McDonald, George Bailey coming in and playing for them. I think that would just be so funny. Dan Vittori's there as well, but he can't play because he's a Kiwi, so apparently he's not allowed. But they've given all of their players who are in the IPL a few extra days rest. There's obviously still a bit of concern around Mitch Marsh's form. He hasn't bowled yet. He's going to play as a batter, but after that hamstring injury that took him out of the IPL, it's just taken longer for that to get itself right. So that's going to be a bit of a concern for them. And then players coming in and not having played together, just coming in hot in the first game. But I think they'll be all right with that. I don't think they will feel that they have to play their best cricket right at the start because they have the confidence that they can time that run. They have this weird, you talk about intergenerational trauma. I have this theory now about Australia after talking to their players a lot, particularly last year in India. They get this confidence from knowing that Australia, not just them, but other Australian teams have done it. And they just see themselves as, they were Australian players like us. They've won it. So it gives them this almost like feeling of the divine right, this intergenerational confidence. So, I actually like their chances in this, which going on how I felt about them in the past World Cup means that they'll bomb out and won't make the Super 8s.
Okay, on that subject, well, I agree with you. I mean, so I think South Africa are really up against it because they've got to beat Sri Lanka and Bangladesh well, because obviously they're going to lose to the Netherlands. They always do. But on the subject of the Super 8s, Michael Vaughan caused a great mirth on social media a couple of weeks ago when he named his semi-finalists, and was then told several days later that it was impossible because not everybody plays everybody else in the Super 8s. So if you've got your head around the format, and I've been going over it for weeks now to make sure I have, but have you picked your semi-finalists?
I don't know. I genuinely haven't, because I don't know, because every time that a squad has announced that they're players, I've looked at them and gone, geez, that's a good squad. And then the next one would release it and I'd go, geez, that's a good. I mean, you talk about South Africa and they're going to lose. I look at South Africa and they've got, I would say arguably the best white ball batter in the world at the moment in Klassen. I can't look past him when it comes to batting, even though then you look at other squads and go, actually, though, but they're really good. So I really find it hard to pick it. And everyone was always, I noticed a few people doing what happens every time, picking their semi-finalists and hardly anyone picking New Zealand. And that happens every single World Cup, that people will pick their semi-final sides and they leave out New Zealand. And I reckon that New Zealand will still be there in the semi-finals. So that means a couple of the other big teams have to miss out. That's why this is really exciting, though. But I can't pick any semi-finalists because you could go with either of India. You can't see them not making it. Australia, I can't see them not making it. I think that South Africa team is absolutely outstanding. I think New Zealand will be there. England, you just don't know which is it going to be 2023 World Cup England who turns up or 2022 T20 World Cup England who we have. So I just think, we're going to see some big surprises, some big upsets, and certainly out of those top three of India, England, and Australia as well, big so-called big three, I definitely think one of those will miss out. Who will it be?
And Mel, you got to New York. Well, what an experience that's going to be.
It's going to be fantastic. I'm very excited to see it, to be there for India, Pakistan. I wasn't there last year in Ahmedabad, and I'm kind of glad I wasn't. I like seeing India and Pakistan play in other countries. That's going to be huge. I was at Edgbaston a couple of days ago, and it was like, I reckon, an 80% Pakistan crowd and about 20% they're supporting England. How's the makeup of that crowd they're going to be? I hope it's split 50-50 because we didn't have that at the World Cup last year. I was there. I've been to a few of them. I was there when Pakistan beat India in the 2017 Champions Trophy, which was incredible. But, in Melbourne, that match there, Virat Kohli, what he did, you sort of feel like, apart from 2017, India have had the wood mostly over Pakistan, but in the UAE was the other way around. It's something that all the eyeballs will be on, and you just hope, that the ICC have identified the US as their most important, attractive market for expansion. It is the US. That's why it's there. They did a study about 4 years ago, and that's what was identified. But it's a country where they've got no staff working for USA Cricket. Their board has been disbanded in the past and then reformed. They've got factions all over the country that want to run it their own way. So they've got to try and find a way of using India, Pakistan, getting the eyeballs on there, trying to create a lasting legacy that actually develops cricket, gets it into the college system, gets it played in a unified way around the country. So that's what they'll be really hoping to achieve from having these matches in places like New York and Florida and Dallas.
Mel, just finally, you know what I'm looking forward to most?
Seeing me, Manus.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And you know what? Hearing more about your...
You were more enthusiastic than I thought you were going to sound.
No, because I'm going to get more of your research on US cricket and your thoughts about Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, because I want to do more than anything, a video with you for the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel in Times Square and Central Park.
Oh, wow. Oh, let's do that, shall we?
Yes,
Nice.
we will.
Okay, well, you're on. I'm definitely up for that. Why not? Times Square. It'll be noisy. Bring a microphone.
Yeah, I'm going to rely on you for the equipment. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Mel Farrell. Can't wait to see you in New York. And we might even talk to you next week again. We'll talk more about the T20 World Cup because most of the smaller teams are playing the early games. Great stuff. Finish your half a lager and we'll chat to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.